First off, it's a tractor repair. It was bolted. Bolts broke, welded it. These are some brackets for a unit for a display. It was built out of MDF. These are just the brackets for the base and the support for the back. I made a jig on the table and made a whole bunch of them. That's a conversion from a fifth wheel to a bumper pole. It's a hitch I put on the back of a high-low. It's a real thick piece of plate. Multi-pass weld. This is a bracket for a shock absorber on a vehicle. The original bracket had broken off. Get some heavy-duty D-rings on some heavy-duty equipment. It's a replacement of the top of a dump truck. Here we put a dump pan on this dump body. Use the crane on the back of the flatbed. Welded it up with some stick 7018. Here's another dump pan, a little asphalt chute. Here's a flatbed on the back of an old ambulance that someone had bought, and they called me, I want to put my flatbed on there. Put it on there for them, built the rails and the brackets and bolted it on there. Added reinforcement gussets. Here's some stairs I put on the back of a building. Did the railing too. I had wood stairs there before, so I just converted it to steel. There's a patch on the back of a diesel gas tank. There's a wall guard. A truck kept hitting the wall. There's some aluminum welds on some side boxes. Here's an asphalt brush wash that I made. There's a hand-cut Michigan metal art. There's the template. There's the tracing. It's all cut out by hand. There's an Upper Peninsula. I make a whole bunch of these things. If you want one, get a hold of me. There's some aluminum welds on a set of ramps. I built heavy-duty ramps to move a 10,000 to 15,000 pound loader skid steer. Aluminum ramps. That's a 2-inch by 5-inch box section. 3 of them per ramp. It's designed to hook right on the side like the original steel ramps were. They were made longer. I made this grate for someone to cook over their fire. This is a brass tube, and then I welded around it to make that pinhole. This dump bed repair. Here's a railing repair at a restaurant. Here's a repair on a ramp. Foot got crushed. Stayed all night there to repair that one. There's another one of those Upper Peninsula Michigans. There's that conversion from a fifth wheel to a bumper pole. More pictures of that. If you need your fifth wheel converted to a bumper pole, let me know. There's a railing I put up at someone's house. They're having a hard time walking, so I put a railing up for them. There's some hinges on a big old dump body for hauling leaves. There's another chute on the back of a dump bed. Do a lot of those for asphalt. Here's a custom bumper made for a food truck. Here's some bollards in front of a new building, sit them down under the cement, and they put the cement over them. Here's a step for a semi-truck. Here's an aluminum flatbed tow truck, and the whole mechanism broke off, so we got a big heavy plate, got the mechanism off of there, cleaned it up, welded it to this big heavy plate, and welded that big heavy plate around where the damage was, just bypassing the damage, and to this day it still holds up. Here's a replacement of the bottom of a dumpster. Just cut the old thing out, put the new metal in, welded it around, re-welded the wheels back on, and they were happy with that. Instead of buying a new dumpster, they got to replace the bottom. Here's 2 lights I built for a trailer. Here's a T-branch I replaced at a asphalt plant. Just cut the flanges off. Here's some posts for a railing I did. Here's a wheel, a spare wheel, spare tire bracket. 2 of them I built for some guy's trailer. Went out there, built them in the shop, took them out there, welded them on site to his trailer. Came out nice, he was very happy. There they are on the trailer. Here's that railing. Those posts you just saw. Ended up putting up 2 long sections. There's a custom stainless steel keychain I made of the stainless steel weld. Now this dump bed had broken off its hinge. Something was left under there as they were putting the dump bed down, and it totally crushed the frame rail, so I just repaired it for them. Got the hinge cleaned up, put new steel on there, big old plate, welded it on there, multi-pass, heavy-duty 7018 weld on the hinge, and put a new flat plate on the bottom, built up the inside with a new plate. A lot of the passes, it was all double pass. Here's a aluminum tanker. I climbed down this aluminum tanker to put air a crack at the bottom of the tank. Here's a jack replacement on a dump trailer. I do a lot of these. 7018, grind out the old one, put a new one in. Purchase the jack for the customer and everything. All done in a few hours. 2 trailers at once this customer had done. Here's more of those Michigans. There's some welds on a container, shipping container. Building this frame for a house. Putting these I-beams in, welding the containers down, and squaring everything up. Some heavy-duty 7018 welds, 7018 low hydrogen rod. Yeah, I've done a couple of these container homes. Get there, set the containers, cut out the walls, and they'll come back and frame it all in with steel studs. But just get the rough sections all cut out and everything lined up. I'll do a future video on this house, this container house. There's just pictures of the container house, the entire build. But yeah, all this reinforcements, first floor, second floor. We do all kinds of I-beam, post, plate beam installations. Very familiar. There's more of that metal art, that Michigan metal art. People really like this stuff here. Home. Here's a safety railing we put in that walks up to a set of mailboxes. We do all kinds of work. Cement work, we'll contract it, or we'll do it ourselves if it's easy. It's actually put in on a rainy day. We cleaned up the metal and got it painted good as soon as the rain stopped. We came back, painted everything. Here's a really cool build. It's a shipping container door dining room table. These shipping container things are really popular now, and just take one of these shipping container doors, add some reinforcement, cross members, build some bracketry with some bolted connections for the legs, and weld everything together, flip it over, and you got a shipping container table. We grind it all down, and we actually did an epoxy top on this. It took 8 gallons of epoxy. It's about $800, $900 worth of epoxy on top of there. Filled in all those valleys so it was completely flat. And the customer was really happy with it. No bubbles. We got all the bubbles out. Use a flame torch to get the bubbles out. You can see those no bubbles, perfect light reflection. Here's a set of brackets we built for security grate over the back of someone's building there, breaking in there. Here's a set of frames we built for some poolside cabanas. Here's a heavy duty weld on some tube. Here's some more of that shipping container welding 2 shipping containers together, top and bottom. Here's some post beam floor connections to support this heavy beam where they put in a cross member. They put a big I-beam in, put a gantry on, and they needed these posts put in as reinforcement. So showed up there, put some post plate beam reinforcements, footers in the ground, everything here. There's the heavy beam welded up to the other heavy beam at the post under it. Here's a cast aluminum repair. This bracket on this motor broke, and this controls a big unit for the asphalt industry, and they needed it fixed same day. I went and picked it up, ground it out, welded back in some aluminum with a spool gun, and ground it flat, and they brought it back to him. They said it works great. It's been a few years, still working down there. I did have regular work with this company. Here's some heavy duty brackets with some bolted connections for a customer. Here's a nice straight line that I cut. Here's a snowplow repair. We do a lot of these in the winter here in Michigan. A lot of rust, breaks. Just have to grind it out, replace the metal, new bolt, new everything there. Here's more shipping container. This is a different shipping container home. I'll have more on that in the future. Here's a set of floating stairs. Just wanted to show you the welds. 7018 stick welds, mobile on site. Here's an aluminum tanker. This bracket for the ladder broke off. So we used a jack and pushed it back into place and ground it clean. Put some aluminum spool gun welds on site on this big aluminum tanker. We do a lot of these for the asphalt industry. Multi-pass weld to resecure that ladder. Here's another tanker pinhole. A lot of these steel tanker pinhole. Usually end up chasing that hole a couple inches before you get it done. But here's an impact on a trailer. We just cut that tongue off and did a whole tongue replacement here. New steel tube. New hitch plate. 7018 low hydrogen welds. Heavy duty. Put the brackets in, angle brackets, put the hitch plate on. Came back the next day and put all the trailer couplers on and hooked up the wiring and painted it for the customer and put some safety stripes on it and put a new jack on it for him. Here's a loading dock that was collapsing. We showed up and we cut these old legs out and put new tube legs in and put new plates that were connected to the existing foundations. We drilled holes in the plates and welded it to the existing bolts that were sticking out of the existing foundation. And we took that leveler dock plate off and re-welded it because it was falling off. There's a lot of rust jacking behind it. And yeah, there's another. We dug out the footings, connected down to the footings, new tubes all the way across. We ended up connecting all these tubes together with angle iron, and the customer was happy. We just did one at a time, didn't have to remove the dock. Here you can see we even came back with cement and covered the footers so that they wouldn't erode as fast. They're having a lot of water erosion here. It's on a hill, so a lot of water settling under there. Yeah, this is another shipping container home. We built this floating stairs. We put in that platform. You'll see more of this in the future. Here's a set of custom sheet metal rails we built for someone. Here's more of that jack replacement on heavy duty trailers. It's a 20,000 pound jack. Here's a set of railings we built for a home, custom railings. Second story. Here's another loading dock we put in. We dug these footers out to 50 inches, filled them up. We got rebar reinforcement, embed plates right there embedded into the concrete. And you start putting up the posts and the plates, leveling everything and coming back and laying in the C-channel frame using the crane on the back of the flatbed. Came back, put some sheet metal on the top of that after everything was welded together. I had cut it out right there on site. Put a dock leveler on it for them and painted it, and they were happy with that. Installed this gate for someone. They bought the gate. We just welded it to the post, made the post for them. The cement company put the posts in. Here's a door modification. The sill had to be raised because they were putting in a taller door. We cut the sill out, notched it, made extension C-plate pieces right there. Got those C-channel extensions, welded them in, and even did the metalwork on the outside there to make it look nice. It was a late night one. We stayed there till it was very dark to get this done because the guy was coming the next day to install the door. Here's a dumpster door repair. Here's someone had cut into this to remove a bracket that was on it, and they ruined the shaft. It wouldn't spin anymore. We came back, we filled it, ground the shaft flush, and filled the keyway also so that it wouldn't leak. It was leaking out of that tank, so now it has a nice flush fit. Here's a custom CNC cut sign for someone, Hacienda. We made it and we put it in front of their. We built these numbers for them, private drive sign, and installed all this. Part of that gate installation. Here's a custom bracket built for a paver. It had been made out of magnesium originally. It broke, and we cut one out of steel and replaced it. There's the original broken one. And there's our steel cutouts and reinforcements. And boom, we made one out of metal on site. This machine was stuck and it could not move until we put this new bracket in, hooked everything up for the customer. They were able to load the machine and take it off site. Here's some snow plows, put some tops on them so the snow wouldn't fly up at people. Here's the brackets we put on the back for a custom hitch attachment. And here's a rust repair job we did on a small snowmobile trailer. Cut out the grates and everything, put new grating in, frame repairs. Rust repairs are common here in Michigan. It was a late night too. I think we got there around 2 and we were there till about 9. Here's a tube, custom pipe replacement. It was all rusted out. And there's a bung we welded on the bottom of a giant container. Here's a frame repair on a car hauler. All the frame was cracked out. We repaired the cross member, the vertical, the angle bracket, everything was cracked out. Hey, we built this custom basket for a company, a lawn company. They can put their lawnmower in the back of their truck and take it from site to site with a fold-down double ramp. They're happy with that. Here's some heavy-duty welds on a hitch plate, hitch coupler that we installed on a heavy-duty trailer. There's some tube piping in an asphalt plant. We had to come in, there's a lot of leaks, and come in and put some 7018 down. Here's some holes we drilled. We have a portable mag drill. We'll show up on site and drill out some holes and put your hitch on for you with some heavy-duty bolts. Here's a hole we cut out and replaced this tube bung and welded it on site for him. Here's a hitch plate we replaced. The old one was all broken and bent. We put a new one on there. Full penetration weld, 7018 uphill, and put the hitch on for him and painted it for him and everything. There's a mud flap bracket replacement. Put new mud flaps on too, and we made a battery box for the customer. Nice strong battery box to keep your batteries locked in there. Here's a dock we ended up replacing. We'll have more of that in the future. Here's a grate we did for someone. Here's a repair on a dump trailer hinge. Here's a custom cutout for HVAC system and the reinforcement cross members we put in. Here's an aluminum bumper replacement on an aluminum frame vehicle. Here's a heavy-duty semi-trailer. Frame was cracked. We patched it all up. New tube, new cross member. Here's a trailer repair. Here's a dump bucket. We cut out the bottom and repaired it. Some cracks on it in general. Repaired some general cracking. Here's a handrail we put in. A real nice handrail. Here's a dump bed that the hydraulic cylinder broke the mount. The mount broke. It just totally snapped the metal. We cut everything out. Oxyacetylene torch on site and welded in a new piece that we actually, in our shop, we drilled those holes out and measured everything and made it work, you know. Here's a repair on another rollback. A corner was damaged. We put a brand new corner on for them. It's for a local towing company. Do a lot of work for them. Here's some pipe welding on some couplers on some big old tanks that they were putting some couplers on. Here's heavy duty spray transfer welds on some thick tube. This was a big test cells we built for a big company. They were testing these engines inside of here. We ended up putting steel plate on the outside of this. Built these entire structures. It took 11 months. Here's one of my machines on site there. Built these frames for these test cells that went inside of these bigger test cells. Here's some of the heavy duty spray welds. This stuff is thick, 3/8 wall, 1/2 inch wall, 1 inch thick plate. There's a 2.5 inch, 3 inch plate on top, welded to some tube, did all of this, built this whole structure. Just more weld. We do a lot of this too, rust repair on railings. The railing rusts on, we come back, we replace the posts and weld everything back together and paint it. Lag it into the ground real strong, very secure. Here's some security stuff we do. We do HVAC security, a lot of that. You don't want to get your AC stolen. Come put a cage around it. Here's more of that test cell. It's just got the sheet metal on it. And there's the inside. It's more finished. Yeah. Here's a hitch I built and installed on someone's truck. The original hitch had completely rusted out. They needed a hitch for their landscaping company. They're just pulling a small trailer. No problem. Built them a hitch. Showed up on site and installed it. Here's a footer we did. We dug this footer out and dug this other footer out and put the posts in and the plate and everything. The porch was actually collapsing. The old post had rusted out. Here's a whole thing we built for a church. Here's a snowplow repair. The plate had snapped and we just cut out a new plate, cut the old one off, welded this new plate on so that the plow could turn. The plow was unable to turn. It was really unable to be used at the time. There's put some paint on it so you can see we repaired it down there. Here's a snowplow, another snowplow plate welded on there so they could use a loader, skid loader to move it around. Here's a grate we built for someone. We have nice Certiflat tables.